Welcome back, dear friends, at Lit E City, the one-stop channel for English literature, and especially designed these videos for NTA NET English, and target is JRF, so advanced level of information is provided in these videos. The present series, 99 novels, is a series of discussion on must-watch, must-read novels. These are some important works from 20th century. Some of these are already very popular and some of these not very popular, but all of them, believe me, are very important for the coming exam. So in today's episode, we are going to discuss the novels Iris Murdoch's The Black Prince, a very critically acclaimed and popular novel, The Heat of the Day by Elizabeth Bowen, William Sansom's The Body, and William Cooper's Scenes from Provincial Life, and Budd Schulberg's the Disenchanted, and Henry Williamson's The Dark Lantern, which is actually a series. We will talk about it later. So we will start our discussion with The Black Prince, published in 1913 and written by Iris Murdoch. This novel is actually critically acclaimed work and noted for its complex narrative structure. The title Black Prince is obviously a reference to Shakespeare's Hamlet, and in the novel there are many direct and indirect references to this great tragedy. The novel deals with Bradley Pearson, who is a 58-year-old novelist, and he is also the narrator of the novel. Dear friends, as it happens, Pearson has previously, he is an author, he has previously in his life published only 3 books. Now, in order to write a great novel, we can say the work of his life, he quits his lifelong job as a tax inspector and decides to go to some remote place where he can focus on writing the novel. He wants to rent a secluded cottage to concentrate on writing, but certain incidents involving him and his family entangle him before he can leave. Actually, he has a competitive friendship with successful writer Arnold Baffin. Now, the interesting thing is that he had a tense but a strong relationship with Baffin because he regards that he has discovered this writer, but now Baffin sells more, he is more popular than Pearson. Now, it so happens that the tension between these two men, it becomes more tense because of their respective relationships. In case of Pearson, it is an extramarital affair, and their different attitudes towards arts. This is also this point also differentiates them. Aesthetically, if we talk about art, Bradley believes in concentration and patience, and these are considered to be the basic condition to achieve high art. Now, Arnold, he writes prolifically, sells very well, and considers this work just as fun. If we talk about their personal life, Bradley has a very brief liaison with Rachel, who is Arnold's wife, and later becomes involved with Arnold's daughter Julian. So this is a very significant part of the story. And Arnold, on the other hand, is engaged in an affair with Christian, who is Bradley's former wife. Bradley's obsessive love for young Julian results in his writing The Black Prince. This is also reference to the work written by Bradley in this novel, and he claims this is the fruit of his passion for the young Julian. At the end of the novel, Arnold is murdered by his wife, and Bradley, who is wrongly convicted of the crime, dies of cancer in prison. Now, apart from this story, there are 2 forewords, 6 afterwards added to the narration. 4 of the afterwards are by characters that are involved in the story who feel the need to vindicate themselves and correct Bradley's narration. So now it is a typical novel in which we can see lot of the layers of meaning are there, and it is not easy to retain one point of view. The next novel we will discuss is The Heat of the Day by Elizabeth Bowen, published in 1949. Dear friend, it is set in England and Ireland during World War II. It is centered on the story of a couple, Stella and Roberts. Stella Rodney, who is a widow, and she has an adult son, Roderick. She earns a living doing coding for military intelligence. Now she is having an affair with Robert Calvey, whom she assumes to be a British officer. Robert Harrison, he is a British intelligence officer. He is attracted towards her, and he tells her that Calvey is not just a British officer but rather a Nazi spy. She is obviously not able to believe this news. She is incredulous. Harrison demands that she must leave Calvey and begin an affair with him, Harrison. Otherwise, he will turn her lover in, or he will reveal the information about him. Stella asks for some time to think it over, and her son, who is in army, is at home for a few days. Roderick can also feel this tension going on. Few days later, Roderick goes back to duty and Calvey arrives. They soon go to visit his family at their country home. Still, she believes that Calvey is a simple British officer. Calvey proposes marriage. Once again, she defers, replying. Next night, Calvey comes to her apartment and they make love. But after the act, he reveals that the allegation is true and he is actually a Nazi working as a spy. Hearing noises outside, he flees through the skylight onto the roof. The next day, his dead body is found in the street below. More than a year passes and Stella sees Harrison again. Now they both have changed a lot and they both feel constrained in their conversation. They both realize the change that has taken place in their lives. Harrison makes no romantic overtures this time, and the novel ends on an ambiguous note as Stella tells Harrison that she is going to marry a distant cousin. So war plays as a background, Cold War is there, but main thing is tension once again between three persons because of their particular way of thinking. The Body, published in 1946, is less novel by William Sansom, but it is a very important novel. It is considered to be one of the important part of the psychological stream of novels. Actually, Sansom is a distinguished short story writer. The Body is his first novel, and it is a skillful study of jealousy, of the obsessive fascination of Henry, the protagonist, who is a hairdresser, and he is basically in doubt regarding the faithfulness of his wife. Henry Bishop, he leads a passionless, dull life with his wife Madge in London. The arrival of a new, practical, joke-loving neighbor, Charlie Diver, turns his life upside down because Charlie is always ready to woo, ready to flirt with his wife Madge. Soon, Henry is obsessed with the idea that Diver is flirting, and now his wife is also reciprocating and they are carrying an affair. We are taken deeper and deeper into the narrator's insecure personality, a journey that becomes marked with skewed perception. Everything that happens seems to be a connection with this illicit affair and ever increasing dread. He pauses periodically to question his reasoning, Henry, but then reassures himself that his suspicions are justified. He fantasizes several times about confronting his neighbor, issuing warnings, lectures, and serious threats, but none of these ever makes its way outside his own head. So, the basic novel is a study in jealousy in which the psychological escape is more important than the actual action. Our next novel is Scenes from Provincial Life, published in 1950, written by William Cooper, and a very, very, very popular novel of its time. William Cooper is the pseudonym pen name of H.S. Huff, who is primarily known for 5 autobiographical novels, and beginning with Scenes from Provincial Life, and others novel include Scenes from Metropolitan Life, Scenes from Married Life, Scenes from Later Life, and Scenes from Death and Life. All these novels were written in the wake of popularity of this novel, Scenes from Provincial Life. The narrator, Joe Lunn, he is a teacher in a provincial town, and we can consider him as the first male anti-hero protagonist to appear in English fiction. We know that in later years a lot of novels were written with this type of academic character, frustrated, and who is always in mass. Basically, there are it all started with what we call angry young man, this sort of novel, and later Jim Dixon, a classical character who always bungles up. Joe Lunn is actually prototype. It follows Joe's comic attempts to avoid his mistress Myrtle's attempt to trap him into marriage. Joe, he is a science master in a grammar school, refuses to conform either in taste or behavior with the dull provincial society, and lot of the comic scenes of the novel happens because of his unsuccessful protests. The next novel we will discuss is The Disenchanted, published in 1950, written by Budd Schulberg. Budd Schulberg is an American novelist primarily known for the novel What Makes Sammy Run, and for the famous screenplay of the movie On the Waterfront, enacted by Marlon Brando, winning Oscar for it. The Disenchanted tells the tragic story of Manly Halliday, a very popular writer of 1920s, and actually who is based on the literary giant of 20s F. Scott Fitzgerald. Having lost his popularity in the 30s, Halliday is hired to work on a screenplay with a young writer, Shep, who is desperate for success and who actually idolizes Halliday. Now, the two go together to New York for writing the script. Halliday, however, is suffering from acute alcoholism, and he gradually lost himself in drinking, not able to carry on his project. Shep tries to bring Halliday to senses, but to no avail. Actually, the novel portrays the disintegration of Halliday as he unsuccessfully tries to fight alcoholism and is gradually fired by the firm. The interesting part of the novel is that it is based on the actual incident when Budd Schulberg was teamed with F. Scott Fitzgerald to write the screenplay for Winter Carnival, a movie, and actually in real life also Fitzgerald was fired by the firm and Schulberg alone wrote the script. The last novel of the day is Chronicle of Ancient Sunlight, 1948, by Henry Williamson. It is actually, we are not talking about not a novel but a 16-volume series. Yes, dear friends, 16-volume series. A Chronicle of Ancient Sunlight is a fictional parallel to Henry Williamson, the author's life, covering a childhood in late Victorian London and experiences in both world wars. The series opens in 1863, covers the story of Philip Madison and that of his family and friends through the first half of the 20th century. The Dark Lantern, the first and most popular novel of the series, is notable for its detailed description of London at the end of the 19th century. The other notable novels of the series are Donkey Boy, Young Philip Madison, How Dear Is Life, A Fox Under My Cloak, The Golden Virgin, and Love and the Loveless. Okay friends, this is all for our discussion of the day. I hope you liked these informative videos. Keep watching them. Keep telling me on which topics I should make video that can help in your preparation. Thank you friends once again.